I don't need to come in frame, and you can all hear me, and you're all muted, so it's fine. Hibby's going to sit there. Welcome to campGNDd. We are very surprised that so many of you have decided to come, and we're really glad you're here. Normally we go camping in a small field and we can't accommodate this many people, but this time we can. And so what you're seeing now is the way we've decided to do all of our slides for this weekend, and also the way that the campfire will render. We thought about buying a video feed, but we have a cool black and white CRT we can use, and so that's what we've used. And I'm going to try and get focus on the slides, and we'll see if anyone can read them, and if they can't, we'll figure out what we do next. That's perfectly legible. So, welcome to campground. We were not expecting the response we've had for this event. This has just been insane. The talks we have are amazing, and we are really excited to see what we can do just in the set content and what we can do in the breakout areas to try and reproduce the hallway track at a normal conference. We're so happy. So what is campGNDd, and why are there two Ds, and why is that not a typo? So we have a habit of coming up with names for events that are pronounceable but unspellable, unless you really know what we're talking about. And so campground is the little camping thing our hackerspace does. And so normally we head out the end of May or the beginning of June to a farm in the middle of rural northeast Scotland, and it really is just the hackerspace goes camping. But this year we can't go outside. We're not allowed. This year we can't go outside, and so we need to do the things we would normally have done outside, but inside. Last year things sort of went wrong, and Hackaday appeared, and we weren't really ready for that, and they got to really enjoy some Scottish rain. This year it seems like we're going to have the best weather for a campground ever. It's never been this hot. It's never been this hot. It's really funny because if we have no audio, we'd have no way to tell right now. So what is campground? Normally, campground, I mean, we head out on a Friday afternoon, and we go in, we put up tents up. And then once the tents are up, and as the sun starts to set, we set up a small campfire, and we put on some nice music, and we relax, and we have a real great party into the evening. And Saturday morning, we wake up eventually. Normally, the sun, even in Scotland, the sun will wake you up when you're in a tent. And we have an excellent, heavily fried breakfast, as you would expect in the northeast of Scotland. And then during the day, we work on our own projects. There's no real focus to what we do during the day at campground. And so we have a whole mix of things. The past, we've done woodworking and electronics, and people have worked on really weird Apple II projects. We've flown drones before, and we've talked a lot about the site we go to has some capture ponds, which are used for a fish farm. Talked about UAVs, and we've never done anything about that. But we have a nice day. I mean, we set off bottle rockets, and we've learned how to use a chainsaw without cutting your legs off, the important part. But it's a nice day, but there's no real structure to it. And then in the evening, after our chainsawing is done, we have a much bigger fire. And on the bigger fire, before we have smelted aluminium, we've not managed casting really yet, but we've smelted aluminium. And again, we drink it. It's a great time. And then on a Sunday, things are a bit slow. We have to figure out how to drive and pack away, and it's all a bit sad. And normally we have to jump between the rain showers so we can actually put the tents away, and then we head off. This year, we really want to reproduce what we would have been doing this weekend if the world wasn't the way it was. And so that's what we're trying to do. And so how do we reproduce campground? Well, this year, we are going to pitch tents as we normally would. And we've pitched a tent, and I've seen some of you have pitched tents, and that's absolutely amazing. If you have a tent and you want to put it up tomorrow morning, I would love to see more tents there. And then after this short introduction that is me speaking right now, we have a drum and bass session, which will go for maybe an hour or so. And that sort of models the music. And we'll have the Zoom still going, but I mean, we might have the campfire on it. But we'll also have the drum and bass. The drum and bass would just be going out through YouTube because Zoom just tortures audio. Tomorrow morning, we start the day at 11 with Nick cooking a camp breakfast for us all. Only he gets to eat it, but we all get to watch. And so he'll spend maybe an hour or so making a lavish breakfast that we would normally have at the campsite. Then instead of the individual hacking we do, where we just get to sort of talk through a day, complain about hangovers and lie in a hammock, we're going to have talks because we couldn't figure out how to fill this content time really. And so normally we don't really have any formal sessions, but for this we do. And so we have a lineup of 6 talks tomorrow, and they are just absolutely outstanding. If you haven't seen the schedule, it should be a link in your email. Someone might post in the Zoom chat now if they're really helpful. The program looks really good. I would be excited to go to this conference if it wasn't in Zoom. After the talks, Nick will return for his final cooking session of the night. Last year at Campground, Nick figured out deep frying, and since then has been learning more about deep frying. And so while you're not getting deep fried stuff in a field, which is pretty unusual and really dangerous when it's raining heavily, Nick will deep fry in his house, and he's going to do deep fried buckfast, a special recipe that he has made. It is glorious. I had some deep fried buckfast in February. It's well worth doing deep frying if you can do it safely and trying to follow along at home. And then tomorrow night, Ali will send us off into the stars with a DJ set. Normally, campground on Sunday, we are a bit sad and we'll go away. But actually, this year, we have a full day of content. So Sunday will start with, I don't know, a very slow feed of us doing some pour over coffee, maybe for a while, maybe some campfire. And then we'll go into some more talks. And the talks, again, look absolutely outstanding. There's some really interesting information that's going to come through, and there'll be some great compelling stories about things that I don't know if you would see anywhere else. They're going to be great talks. And so the whole weekend is going to be completely packed. The thing about any conference, really, and people say this again and again, is that they get lost in the hallway track and they never see any sessions. And so we really want to capture this because this is an important part of a conference for us. The conference we run, Northern Reset, is a single track conference because we understand you can't really have a 2-track conference. You really end up with a 3 or a 4-track conference. But we want to try and reproduce this. So all of the talks this weekend are 25-minute long sessions, and they're deliberately short because we gave all of the speakers like 3 weeks notice to prepare. And then the 35 minutes afterwards, we will move to the campfire Zoom and we'll make breakouts for each session. And then you and the speaker and other people can talk about the topic for as long as you want. And there's plenty of time to sit and chat and figure out things that are going on. This doesn't replace the social interaction you can get standing in line for coffee, and it won't be as dynamic, but we really hope we can cover some of this ground because we understand this is this is how a lot of us have met, is through like random interactions at events and conferences. And we can't just not have that for a year. That would be crazy. So for every talk, there will be a breakout after the talk. And this gives you room to speak to the speakers and room to speak to each other. And already some people have gone above and beyond and made content. So Ed, that is speaking on Sunday about growing algae deliberately, I don't know why, has recreated a virtual beach that he took to 34C3. And the link is on the screen. Who knows if anyone can read that. I think it's actually in the middle of a scan line. You can share the link in the chat. He's made a virtual beach. You can go and hang out there. His comment was, it might crash, it might not. He has no idea. McFly, since CCC Camp 2019, has been working with a group of people to make virtual CCC Camp. It started as just a piece of Milliways. There is much more to it, and he really wants people to see the work they've done and come and help rebuild the great experience they had at camp. And so if you speak to him tonight or tomorrow, just ask, and he will show you how to find out more and what to do. And I think he can share his screen and do a walk around. We have really excellent talks lined up, and we really hope that you have a good time for this conference and that you get everything that you can from a virtual experience. We've put in a lot of effort, and we've got speakers together who have made great material at like really minimal notice. We really want to go outside. I know everyone else does, but I hope this can be a nice middle ground that will give you something as a pickup. We were not expecting any of this at the start, and we love all of you so much for all of the support and joining us for this weekend. And we hope you have a great time. Hey, I'm at slides.
Great, we can unmute everyone and they can abuse us. I mean, tell us nice things. Where is the unmute button on Zoom?